Okay. What is going on, LBHT crew? B, what is going on?
I need to unmute my mic.
Oh, look who didn't unmute this week.
I didn't say anything before I unmuted, so it's not at all the same thing. I don't know why you're trying to compare. But yeah, no, just a lot more free agency talk going on this week. I heard y'all
Indeed.
have a surprise for the Ravens fans coming up.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. Is it shocking news? All right, y'all. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitter /X, Facebook, and Twitch. So wherever you're watching us, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you're listening to the audio form of this, listen to the podcast, make sure you give us a 5-star review. All right. And if you're looking at the chat box, I know you guys are already looking to hit up the super chat. We do super chat a little differently over here. If you look in the chat box, you see that pinned comment. All right. That will take you to our Stream Labs page. All right. Also, that QR code right below B is for our Cash App. $ LBHT Show. Both ways, you leave your donation, leave your comment, and you get a nice little animation on the screen from Microphone Man. And we'll read your comment on air. All right. That's how we do things over here. Also, right above me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. Patrons, on April 6th, we are going to the Ravens Stadium. We are going to do a tour of the Ravens Stadium. And then we're going to hang out afterwards, eat some good food, hang out, just chop it up for a little bit. Something for the patrons only. So make sure you are a Patreon member on either our Patreon or Hendo's, which is the Robot, patreon.com/ROUG, or Coach Evans. Will honor anybody. Well, actually, do we have the list already? Is it? Are we booked?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And it said to let them know by last Friday. So
okay, well, we'll send you guys some pictures then. How about that? All right. So last week's show was a little condensed. This week is going to be similar because we got some things that we're working on for future episodes. We're bringing, we like to be well-rounded around here. We like to talk combat sports, NBA, all that good stuff, but we kind of shortened it a little bit. Although there is a little bit of combat sports I want to bring up. We'll bring that up later. But it's going to be heavy on the Ravens and Panthers. Okay. And, we'll have a little bonus time for you guys to, get your questions and discuss. But this is a huge offseason. Okay. We said it in one of our videos. It's a huge offseason. And EDC has to nail it. Well, we got some shocking news about the O-line. Okay. Shocking news that we're going to discuss. Updates from the Carolina Panthers free agency. That's what we're going to discuss mainly on the show today. All right. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B and Okole have a Black History fact for you.
Welcome to this week's Black History Fact. The Aponte Rebellion, also known as the Aponte Conspiracy, was a pivotal event in Cuban history that unfolded in 1812. Led by José Antonio Aponte, a free black carpenter of African descent, the rebellion aimed to challenge Spanish colonial rule and establish a free republic in Cuba. Aponte, influenced by the ideals of the Haitian Revolution and inspired by the struggle for freedom, organized a clandestine movement that brought together a diverse coalition of individuals from different social backgrounds, including slaves, free blacks, and even some whites. Aponte's rebellion was fueled by a desire for racial equality and social justice, as well as a rejection of the oppressive system of slavery that plagued the island. Through secret gatherings and communication networks, Aponte and his followers plotted to overthrow Spanish authority and create a new order based on principles of liberty and equality. The rebellion posed a significant challenge to the colonial regime, as it threatened the established power structures and economic interests of the ruling elite. However, Despite meticulous planning and organization, the conspiracy was betrayed by one of its members, leading to the arrest of Aponte and several of his associates. After a brief trial, Aponte and others were executed, and their bodies were publicly displayed as a warning to others who might dare to challenge the status quo. Although the Aponte rebellion was ultimately crushed by the colonial authorities, the rebellion served as a powerful symbol of resistance against oppression and injustice, inspiring future generations of activists and revolutionaries in Cuba and beyond. Aponte himself became a martyr for the cause of freedom, remembered as a hero who dared to challenge the forces of tyranny and oppression.
All right. Salute to Jose Aponte. Love the name. Love the name. All right. Let me give a couple of shout outs to the chat. I forgot to do that before we went into the Black History Fact. And you got to unmute yourself, B. I muted you before we did the thing.
Okay. I muted myself already. You muted me again?
No, you didn't mute yourself. I saw it. That's why I muted you. Shout out to Bazel, who said he is first. And yes, you are. You are first. Salute to Bazel. Osman in second says, hello. What's going on, Osman? Just joined our Discord as well. So welcome, right? Our Discord. Well, he joined our Discord. He just joined Hendo's Discord, I believe. Yeah. So that's one of the perks you get from signing up to our Patreon. All right. So welcome to the chat. Got our guy Just Allo in the house says, what's up, LBHT crew? Hope everyone is doing well. Michael Gallup, man. Yeah, we'll talk about Michael Gallup. We're definitely going to talk about that. Alex Rita, what's going on, says, sup with you, Alex. Pay the bills in the house. Salute to Pay the Bills. Says, yo. Jeremy Miller says, hey, everyone. Hey, Jeremy. What's going on? Zeke Hokage, salute to you, says Jose and Brodny. What's good, unks, and everyone. Salute. Dapper Don says, my favorite OG YouTubers. Love the commentary and keeping it real. Dapper Don, I saw you. I saw you and a couple other people, man. You were going at that dude that called me a fake Ravens fan. I was like, oh, okay. They letting them know. It don't go down like that over here. Salute, Dapper Don. Appreciate you. Got a guy, MJ. Urban Closer says, yo, the vault sent me. I doubt that. Let's see here. Lunch break hot take. Killer Cam, what's going on? Says Hola Jose. And mucho gusto, Brodny. What's up, Cam? Salute to you. Agent E in the house says, how about them Bucks, Jose? What them Bucks doing? What them Bucks? They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing, man. They're a good team. They should be competitive. They ain't gonna do nothing. Salute Yolanda. Ravens Talk with Yolanda. She's dropping videos. It seems like every day. Is it every day, Yolanda? Seems like every day. But she put out a nice motivational video earlier this morning. So if you're dragging this morning, you needed to pick me up, that's the video for you. All right.
Yeah, and out there in the chat, you need to be putting the pressure on Yolanda to get her weekly live stream going every Saturday over there on Ravens Talk with Yolanda. Let her know.
So you can let her know by subscribing. That will help. All right. Show her some love. All right. Do that. Who else we got in here? Evil Lamar says, dude looks like me. He was talking about Jose Aponte. Yeah. He looks like me. Everybody asked me like, wait, so what are you? Yeah, I'm black. I'm Black Jose. Okay. There's some Black Jose's. You just saw one. Yeah. Slim Smith says, we in the building, LBHT crew. Salute to you, Slim. Appreciate you coming through. I be saying says, what up? Where's the beef? No O-line. Oh, okay. Reggie Wright in the house. Salute, LBHT. Salute to you, Reggie. Thanks for coming through. Z the Beast, what up? Says, what up, LBHT crew? What up, chat? What's up with you? Ravenville in the house. Let me go through all the salutes here. Yes. All right. And Yolanda says, thank you, Jose. You're welcome, Yolanda. And she also says, no, thank you, Brodny.
She didn't say nothing else.
She said, no, thank you. There it is. She says, no, thank you. All right. All right. So, shocking news, ladies and gentlemen. 75 people in here. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Shocking news for the O-line. We ain't got no help. We ain't got no help. Okay, the shocking news part came because we are already down 2 starting guards, right? That's how we started the season pretty much. Fine. We kind of knew that, right? We didn't we kind of knew Zeitler probably wasn't going to come back. We knew we didn't want John Simpson to come back. Fine. But they proceeded to not do anything there, and it's just like, okay, well, what's happening? We're not raising the alarms right away because it's early in free agency. There's a lot that can go on, and you can get a good veteran guard, right? But then they traded Morgan Moses, our starting right tackle. And it's like, well, I mean, okay, Morgan Moses wasn't the best either, but he was a starter, definite starter, and we weren't planning on replacing him. So now we have 3 holes on the O-line, and I don't see anybody visiting. We keep talking about, oh, well, you still have this guy out here. We still have that guy out there. We were talking about Trent Brown, like, oh, well, okay, maybe we can go get Trent Brown. Hannibal just put out a video today. I mean, it happened so fast. He put out a video saying, hey, maybe we'll get Trent Brown. Trent Brown already gone. So, yes, it is a little shocking that they are so just whatever about this, that they're not, it doesn't seem like they're calling anybody. You don't hear any rumors about them trying to make a trade for anybody. What is the plan there?
I think the plan there is that they're just going to go into the draft and see what they can get at pick 30, maybe and maybe double down on that. And then after the draft, see who gets cut and who's still available in free agency. The plan is certainly not to dramatically improve the O-line this year, which we thought it should have been. But, I think that they're just going to go young and cheap on the O-line.
Yeah. And Daniel Franklin, I did see it. He says, you guys see the propaganda the Ravens putting out saying Voorhees looks great, not buying the BS. I actually quote tweeted that. That came from Ravens media guy, Ryan Mink, saying that it came, he heard from Mel Kiper B. Oh, salute to Yolanda for the donation. Says it would appear that we will rely on rookies as the wall to build around Lamar. Unbelievable. Yes, unbelievable. If you want to be awesome like Yolanda, go ahead, hit that link in the chat box or hit up the Cash App by that QR code right there. All right, $ LBHT Show. Yes, Ryan Mink put out a tweet saying, of all people, be Mel Kiper, because Mel Kiper, he gets got like no other. He said Voorhees, he's going to be in that mix for a starter, and he mentioned somebody else. He said Voorhees is looking good, and I think he mentioned somebody else, and I'm like, okay, so like Daniel was saying, there's your propaganda right there. That is them prepping everybody for the fact that they're not going to make any moves on the O-line. Nothing spectacular. They're not going to go and get somebody that's a short thing. Now, Andrew Voorhees, he could be good, right? It's possible. Mm-hmm. But a guy that was hurt, who was hurt all throughout his college career, hurt at the combine last year, went undrafted, right? I don't think we drafted him in the 7th round or something like that. Drafted in the 7th round. That's not somebody that you rely on and you pencil in as a starter and say he's going to be great. Definitely not off the word of Mel Kiper. Okay, so that's the first problem right there. Second problem, what about the other 2 spots?
Yeah.
Even if we were to buy into the Andrew Voorhees hype, what about the other 2 spots? Are you buying Ben Cleveland now? Are you buying Saleh now? What about the right tackle? Are we buying Faalele now?
Well, I mean, I think a certain portion of Ravens fans are going to buy whatever the team is selling.
Yeah.
But, like you said, there's always the possibility that these guys could improve and go out there and play well, and that'd be great. It's just a bad process to say, hey, you know what? We're going to rely on 3 guys who we haven't seen perform well on an NFL field to be our starters.
Yeah, that's
and I
not.
think it's a bad idea to even trust DaCosta to go into the draft and draft multiple guys because he just hasn't shown that ability up until this point. I think they really should have gone into free agency, and you don't even have. I would have liked it if they wouldn't got say Mike Onwenu from New England, but you didn't even have to make a big splash. They should have gone out and gotten guys who at least are competent, just in case. But
Yeah, that's the thing. Right? But that's always our issue with how they build this team. On defense, you have to get a short thing. That's why they had to bring back Matabike because Matabike had a great year, and they're like, I mean, and Ravens fans agree with it. Nobody really argues, other than us, that Matabike shouldn't have come back. Right? Everybody loves Matabike. We like Matabike too, but look at the holes we had in the O line to sacrifice that. Not worth it. Now, I'd have felt a lot more comfortable letting Matabike walk and rolling into the next season with Travis Jones, Michael Pierce, and Broderick Washington, right? And whoever else they draft. Because those guys have shown a level of play, maybe not great, but they'll be solid, right? Like you can live with that. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen anything from Faalele to this point to suggest that he's ready to play right now. Now, B believes long term he could be the guy. It does take time for offensive linemen to develop.
I'd like to believe that.
You like to believe that? Yes.
It's more accurate than
okay. Yeah,
I believe it.
But he didn't show anything last year to suggest, yeah, he's ready to go now. Saleh didn't show anything to suggest, yeah, he's ready to go now.
Yeah.
Ben Cleveland didn't show anything to suggest, yeah, he's ready to go now. Voorhees hasn't done anything at all but be hurt.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting here like, yeah, it's cool. Like when we criticize EDC, everybody's like, you're being so negative. But we're not going to question what's going on here with the O-line. Like they weren't great last year. Okay, but weren't great. Yeah. They're worse right now. So yes, we need to question, what are you doing? I don't want to hear about cornerbacks. I don't want to hear about D linemen. I don't want to hear about none of that. I don't want to hear about Michael Gallup coming to visit.
Well, let's talk about Michael Gallup because that is the other part of the news here. I believe on Thursday they are going to be hosting Michael Gallup because they do need a starting wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was a big fan of Michael Gallup coming out of Colorado State. I thought that he was going to be a great deep threat in the NFL. In college, he looked like he could get down the field, open downfield almost at will. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the Cowboys. And, early on in his career, he looked like he was that guy. He had 1,100 yards in his 2nd season. And then things have just kind of gone downhill since then. Now, part of that is injury. He tore his ACL in January of 2022. But, he's 2 years removed from that now. And he just has not looked he just hasn't looked like the same player.
No.
And so I can't look at that and be excited. He's got 3 straight years of under 500 yards receiving. And again, part of that is injury. He played like 9 games one year, but he played 17 games last year. And he had under 500 yards and he was losing snaps to other guys. It's, it's not one of those things where it's like, hey, this guy's been great and just had a down year and we fully expect him to bounce back. He hasn't been very productive for 4 or 5 years, and it just looks like you're looking for a cheap option with a name. If you're gonna go with the guys who have been injured and count on them bouncing back, you should have gone with Mike Williams.
Yes. Because when Mike Williams is healthy, he produces. Mm-hmm. Right? Michael Gallup, it looked like he's lost something. But this is the MO of the Ravens. This is why we don't get excited about the moves that they make in the offseason because, I mean, look what we're talking about. 28 years old, coming off injury, declining, it looks like. He hasn't, I mean, last 3 years, he's had about 400 yards a season. Nothing to write home about. What will make him stand out from everybody else that we have on the roster right now? What's the point of making that move? You might as well just kept Odell.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nothing move at this point. But when he was hot and the Cowboys had too many receivers, on the roster, nobody wanted to trade for Michael Gallup.
Right.
We always want to get leftovers. We always want to get guys when they're used up and washed up and act like we're doing something, right? And let me get my book of cliches over here. Let me just dust that off here because I already know what the defenders are going to say. They're going to say, says right here, he can provide veteran leadership. It's right there in the book of cliches. Veteran leadership. Veteran leadership is the biggest lie that people fall for. Okay, don't buy into that.
That's one of my favorites because what does it even mean? And you can't say that he doesn't because you're not in the locker room, right? But by that same token, you can't say that he does either. That was James Prochet's role on this team.
Yeah,
right? He was the leader of the wide receiver room. What did that amount to?
Yeah, Hendo says they are so excited about Gallup, like he's what we need. Yeah, I think that's just a waste of time, even bringing them in for a visit. Why are we wasting our time? Why are we wasting our time with that? Let's see. That's so Raven. It is. That is the Ravens way. That is the Ravens way. That's why we don't. These moves we've seen them before, and it just looks like they don't really care about Lamar. They don't.
Well, here's the other thing. Yeah, if they the trash for offense, it paying $20 million for defensive players at every level.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Ravenville, as a comment here. Speaking of injured wide receivers, they should have gone after Keenan Allen, who was traded. He wasn't a free agent, but the Bears traded a 4th-round pick for. And he's been a wildly productive receiver all through his career, even despite the injuries.
Yeah.
But it's just not, the offense has just never really been the priority in Baltimore. So, I mean, it's not surprising that they would be looking to, I don't want to say dumpster dive. I was a big fan of Michael Gallup, but, looking at lower tiers, tier players in free agency.
It's almost like they're trolling, right? There are guys that are clearly available that could clearly help this offense, and they don't make an effort. They don't make any attempt to get those guys. And then you get these guys that pretty much nobody wants. And it's just like, oh, that's exactly what we need. He plays like a Raven. Oh, he can provide veteran leadership. What's going on, Christian? Thanks for coming through. Salute to you over there in the Philippines. It's good morning, brothers. Just dropping by to say what's up. Greetings from the Philippines. Indeed. Salute to you, man. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
But they always do this. They always get guys that are just coming out of their prime or way past their prime. And that's why, we didn't jump up and down for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is obviously still good. Obviously, I think he'll be good next year too. But it's the year after and the year after that I'm looking at. Right. Yeah. And he's 30. This is the thing, because a lot of people argue with us on this. Derrick Henry, 30 years old, still a gifted running back. But let me ask you guys this. If Derrick Henry next year only gets 600 yards, right? 700 yards, something that's just kind of like, would anybody be surprised? Would anybody be saying, what's going on with Derrick Henry? Like, why is he doing better than this? Or will we be saying, yeah, he's 30. He's falling off the cliff a little bit. It is what it is. We'll be saying that. We'll be saying, yeah, he's 30 and he's older and, he's declining, because that's what you expect at that age. So why aren't we going for somebody younger?
Because it costs more.
Yeah.
What's up, the Dre, Mr. Galloway? If you don't know about Mr. Galloway, you need to go over to his channel. It's MISTERR Galloway. He does a show with Hendo from the Rogue Pod every Tuesday called Electric Relaxation. If you're into hip hop at all, definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button and let them know that we sent you.
Yeah. Salute. Just Aloe says EDC is a coward. He's afraid to make a move for a big time wide receiver because if it doesn't work, he will be exposed. But that's the thing. If you go and get somebody like Stephon Diggs, that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
That can't not work. That's going to work. You get like somebody like Keenan Allen, that's going to work. Keenan Allen, even first, people always say how Keenan Allen is hurt. And he is hurt a lot. He's still gonna get you 1,100 yards, hurt or not. He's going to get you his yards. He's going to get them. So he is consistent. All right, but when you get top tier wide receivers, that's going to work out. They're already proven. There's no risk in that. Right? Don't let anybody tell you there's a risk. There's no risk there. Right? The risk is signing Matabike, who's only done it 1 year.
Right.
That's a risk.
Well, yeah, and again, the risk is the same risk for every single player in the year or in the league, which is, hey, maybe they get hurt.
Yeah,
and that's a risk for every single player that steps on the field. That's not, it's not exclusive to anybody. But you go out and you get somebody who you know can play. They're not going to forget how to play when they get to Baltimore.
Yeah. So all right. What are the best options for O-line at this point?
Oh man, I mean, I've got the list of available linemen up here.
What did you just hit? You hit something. Your mic level went up.
Yeah, I turned up the volume.
Like I told you to do.
I heard that it was sounding a little low.
Like I told you to do. Like
I did it before. Except what I actually did was the speaker and not the mic. So I just did the mic. Yeah. But thanks for calling it out, though. Appreciate it. So we've got David Bakhtiari, who's been a great lineman for a long time with Green Bay. Ton of injuries there, and he's 32. We've got Andrus Peat, who is a guard in New Orleans for a long time. He's hitting free agency. I believe he's got some visits scheduled already, though. Andre Dillard, who was cut by Tennessee recently, hasn't really lived up to his draft position. We got Connor Williams, who's a center. We don't really need that. Who else we got here? Mekhi Becton, who is a name a lot of people like to throw around. He's the right tackle from the Jets, who was drafted in the top 15 a few years ago. He's 24 years old, and he's available because the perception, and including with his own coaching staff, is that he's lazy, and he's had some injury issues as well.
That's the word on the street.
Yeah.
And again, those are the type of players. It's not just the Ravens that do this. A lot of teams look at a first round talent who's still young. He's only 24 years old. All right, talking about Becton, and you say, I can fix that guy. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, 24. I think he's like 24.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that. He's young, and they say I can fix that guy. And if we can fix that guy, we got a young, talented tackle for years to come. So and sometimes, rarely, but sometimes it works out. Sometimes that person just needs to change the scenery. He needs to get with a better coach, and he gets motivated and he plays.
Yeah, or just a shock to a system, like, hey, I was a first round pick and now I'm cut.
Yeah,
this might be over much, much faster than I thought. And I wouldn't even be against them bringing in Mekhi Becton, but you still have to do other things. You can't rely on Mekhi Becton.
That can't be the plan. Okay. Well, all these guys that we're talking about, yes, it's possible. Voorhees, I mean, you hear about Andrew Voorhees. I don't understand how people got so much faith in Andrew Voorhees, like he's the second coming of Marshall Yanda. I don't understand where this confidence came from. But he could be very good. You don't plan for this guy, because when the likelihood that he's not good happens, we're gonna be saying, well, yeah, he sucks. So what? I mean, he's a 7th round pick. Well, so what is we don't have anybody protecting our quarterback. That's what.
Right.
So we can't rely on that.
And the other guy who's still available, it was also available last offseason, and a lot of people wanted Baltimore to go after him, Dalton Reisner, the guard. So there aren't really any sure things out there. So which is, what you would expect at this point in free agency.
Sure.
There are guys who have some talent, but they all come with issues. But that's just where they're at. I think they have to go out and get at least one veteran to plug one of those holes before you even think about going into the draft and trying to fill the rest of them.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to tell you guys what's going to happen. They're going to sign one veteran to be a starter, one veteran probably to kind of float, right? And we're going to draft a guy in the first round, and we're going to like one of the guys on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a veteran. We're going to have a next man up, and we're going to have a rookie on that O-line, right, to fill those spots. Maybe it works out. Okay, we don't have to have a great O-line, but keep Lamar upright, open up some holes for Derrick Henry, play solid, and it could work out if we do the other thing and bring in another good wide receiver. Okay. Now,
Right.
the rumors of Deebo Samuel are out there. We talked about that last week, I believe, that possibly they could be looking to trade for him after June 1st. That's when the 49ers would save a boatload of money. So that's a possibility. But again, don't rely on that. And if it doesn't happen, then what? Right. I'm hearing that the Steelers are going after Justin Jefferson, and they're serious about that. So we need to be serious about that.
Right. And I see in the chat Alex Rada saying that he remembers some people saying he would have been a third rounder if healthy. So it seems like he's got the talent, but it looks like a lot of people take it for granted that he'll suddenly be healthy. Talking about Andrew Voorhees. Now, I'm not going to say that it's, that he for sure wouldn't have been drafted high, but I read a few scouting reports on Voorhees after they picked him up. And the ones that I saw all had him as a late day 3 pick. Injuries aside. So, I mean, look, and scouts are wrong all the time in both directions. So that doesn't mean he can't play. But I didn't see a lot of people saying that he was a top lineman. And guys don't really fall like that if they have that talent. He wouldn't have gone from a second or third rounder to a 7th rounder because he tore his ACL.
Yeah. And KP donated. Can you pull up his donation?
Yes.
Salute to you, KP.
Okay, KP says, it's hilarious how the Browns have the most expensive and ridiculous quarterback contract, yet they were able to trade for wide receivers and even pay one a new contract. Yet when it comes to the Ravens, it's, we can't afford one after Lamar's contract, yada, yada, yada. And the Browns also went out and just signed Deonta Foreman, to be part of their running back group. That's, they haven't, a lot of people thought they were going to cut Nick Chubb. They haven't. So it looks like maybe they're going to see how he is when he gets back. And they brought Foreman in as maybe some insurance.
Yeah, Nick Chubb he's the type of player you want to be short before you just let him go. You don't just make that cut. DDSQ, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming through. Says, what's good, y'all? What's good with you? Yeah, pay the bill, says ask Ojabo. Yeah. He had a first round grade on him. And I believe it because, I mean, look where he got drafted in the second round after what he tear his ACL or Achilles or something like that.
I don't believe that either. I think he went right where he was going to go. Maybe he dropped a few spots. Maybe he would have been a late first or something like that. But
yeah.
I mean, like you can look no further than I believe the year before with Jamison Williams.
Same draft. No, I think there's the same draft.
Was it? Oh, because the job has been in the league forever, right? Jamison Williams tore his ACL and went top 10.
Yeah, but that happened a few months prior, right?
Yeah, but he still wasn't going to be ready for the season. Like he was hurt, and he was not going to be ready, and it didn't affect. And what I'm saying is that it didn't affect his stock at all.
No, it didn't.
And this one, even back with the 49ers several years ago, I believe the lineman's name was Coleman out of Clemson, who had a major injury. And he got hurt, and they took him in the third, and everybody praised him because they're like, "Oh man, he was a he was a potential first round pick, and you got him at this big discount because he got hurt." And I mean, the guy never really panned out, but
yeah.
But I think generally speaking, guys go where they're going to go, unless it's a catastrophic injury. I mean, even you look at Jalen, what's his name? Jalen Smith, the linebacker from Notre Dame, who did have a catastrophic injury, who was going to be a top 15 pick. He fell to the top of the second round.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so just don't get your hopes up for Voorhees. And the thing is this: if we plan for a good O-line, we get some good, solid veterans there. Voorhees turns out to just be really good and beats out one of those guys. Great. That's how you prepare. If you get Voorhees and we sign Mekhi Becton, kick the tires on them, and it turns out these guys are really good, then we lucked out. Hooray. EDC gets all the credit, but we can't say no. Voorhees, let's pencil him in there. Let's get Ben Cleveland to man the right, and it's time for Daniel Faalele or Salah to cook at right tackle. That's disastrous.
My thing is, I don't know why people are so quick to buy in. I mean, I understand that people like to be optimistic, and that's fine. But what happened the last time the Ravens said, "Let the young guys cook"? It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
I want to remind you guys, it's been 2 years now with the Alejandro Villanueva debacle. We were here telling you that this was a bad move out the gate. Out the gate, we said, do not sign that man. They signed a guy who was already declining at left tackle, the only position he ever played. The Steelers fans were happy to get rid of him, and we brought him over to play right tackle because we didn't want to pay Orlando Brown. And the guy didn't know how to play right tackle, right? And people were trying, a bunch of people were optimistic about it. They're trying to tell us, oh, no, he's going to work out. No, that's a terrible plan. And don't just assume that it's going to work. And it was a disaster, a complete disaster, right? Now we want to do it with guys who've never played.
Yeah. My thing is, it's just like, I don't know. It seems to me that Baltimore, when it comes to offense, believes having too much talent is a problem, but having not enough talent is fine. Like they're afraid. What if I go out and I get this high end guy, and our young player turns out to be good too? Who will we play then? Somebody might get angry, but they're fine if you just don't have anybody who can play the position.
Yeah, pay the bills. He says not paying Orlando Brown is the biggest mistake EDC has made in a long list in my book. Yeah, and people always try to throw shade at Orlando Brown, like, oh yeah, how good is he doing now? He won a Super Bowl in Kansas City, and then he got cut, and then he got paid from Cincinnati, and he's not looking that great.
And he's only made a couple Pro Bowls.
He's better than Morgan Moses.
Yeah.
He's better than Faalele. He's better than Salah. He's better than everybody we have right now. You have to pay. I don't understand what you guys think happens when you get good players, but you got to pay them, right? And offense gets paid more than defense most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, there's no price tag too high when it comes to protecting your 2-time MVP quarterback. That should be the first, second, and third priority. Is let's make sure we build a wall around him, and then we can work out everything else. If we spent the offseason doing what the Panthers did, getting Damian Lewis, getting Robert Hunt, or whoever, right? And we're like, okay, all right, we got to be smart with how we spend the rest of this money. Fine. I'll be fine with looking at Michael Gallup right now. But all we did was create another hole. We had 2 holes. Now we have 3 holes to fill on the offensive line. Not acceptable.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about update on the Carolina Panthers. 128 people in here. Wow. Okay. All right. Yes, 128 total from all platforms. Over 100 on YouTube. Hit that like button, and if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, we got goals around here, guys. We are close to 2,000 subscribers. We are close. We're about 100 and 115 away, something like that. Yeah. All right. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Get us closer to 2,000 subscribers. Let your friends and families and loved ones know, and the haters Okay, because haters love they say they hate us, but they always come back, right? And when we block them, they're like, "Why'd you block us?" Because you hate us. I just wanted to help make sure that we didn't, we weren't distracting you guys. Like, no, unblock me, bro. Come on. All right, the Panthers. So
Yes.
last we spoke about the Panthers. They're making some big moves. B. Okay, they got Damian Lewis. They got Robert Hunt. And they traded for Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
Now, some people will argue that, hey, Deontay Johnson ain't that great. No one said he's that great, but he's good, and he's a major upgrade from what you guys had before, right? And those three moves, because you're already going into a draft where you didn't have a first round pick, but you managed to get you got 2 high second round picks, right? So that helped soften the blow. And these moves make it to where by the time you pick in the second round, you don't have to sit there and say, oh, we have to go and get what's left at wide receiver or go and get what's left at, tackle or guard or whatever. You have a little more leeway to say, let's get the best talent available because you still have needs. So even though you got a wide receiver, you could use another wide receiver, but you don't. Yeah. It's not you need a wide receiver, right? Because with Deontay Johnson is there, you still have Adam Thielen, and hopefully Jonathan Mingo does something in his second year. But it's not a dire need. Offensive line, you still want to improve on that, but it's looking a lot better now. So now you can just go out there and look for great talent that's available.
Yeah, when they went and got Deontay Johnson, like the key thing there was they didn't really give up anything for him. They traded Dante Jackson, who they were about to cut, and then they traded a late pick. All right, so they got him for essentially nothing, which is a big change from their previous GM, who overpaid for everything in every trade that he ever executed. Yeah. And Deontay Johnson, I'm looking at it now, is if you don't know about the Reception Perception, it's a website run by Matt Harmon where he charts NFL wide receivers and incoming, draft wide receivers. So it'll tell you the percentage of routes that they run, like each particular route, and then it'll show the percentage that they get open on each particular route. And Deontay Johnson is the only one. They break it up into red, yellow, and green. Green being top of the league, yellow being average, red being below average. Deontay Johnson's the only receiver in the league last year who was green on every single route. He's one of the best route runners in the league. He hasn't, he's had some issues in Pittsburgh. He had some drop issues, although not last year. And a couple years ago, he had issues finding the end zone. He had 0 touchdowns on, I believe, 100 catches or over 100 catches.
That's crazy.
But he's a guy who can get open, and that's something that Carolina did not have. And they got him for next to nothing. Yeah. They compare him with Adam Thielen now, who was over 1,000 yards last season. But the issue for them is those guys are not going to be around long term. No. Terrace Marshall hasn't been anything, but he's going to be gone. Adam Thielen is in his mid-30s. He's going to be gone. Deontay Johnson is on I believe, a 1-year deal at this point. So, he's potentially gone after this season. So they do still need to look to the future at wide receiver. But as of right now, they're much better off than they were last season. Same with the O-line. They brought in Josh Nijman from Green Bay, who's going to be a backup O-lineman for them as well. So they've solidified their front and added some depth there. They need edge rushers. They signed DJ Wanham, and for some reason they signed Clavon Chason, but they need another starting edge rusher because Chason is not a starting edge rusher.
What a waste of, we just talked about a waste of time with the Ravens in entertaining Michael Gallup. Waste of time. And if they end up signing them, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did, waste of money, right? Waste of time and money signing Clavon Chason. How much did you pay him? It wasn't like he's getting vet minimum.
It's not a ton of money. It's 1 year up to $5 million. And I'm just like, you could have taken that $5 million and probably convinced Jadeveon Clowney to sign.
Yes.
Immediately. You could have taken that $5 million and put it on top of whatever you offered Mike Williams, because Carolina does have to overpay guys to get them to come to Carolina. They won 2 games last year. They're not good.
Right.
But they chose to mess around with Chason instead, who's most likely not going to play for them. If he even makes the team, he's probably not going to play a whole lot, at least ideally. But yeah, they do have issues at edge. The interior is okay right now. They're getting Shaq Thompson back at linebacker, and they signed Josie Jewell, so they're okay there as well. And they need some help in the secondary. They cut Von Bell, who was a starting safety for them. They let Jeremy Chin walk in free agency. They only really have one good corner on the roster, so like they do need some work there. But like you said, they're in a position where they can just go with whoever they feel is the best player at 33 and 39.
Yeah, so
which is not where they were a few weeks ago.
Right, right. So still uphill battle, but the moves that they're making, lots of reasons to be optimistic about the team because everything went bad, everything. But Dave Canales did an amazing job reviving Baker Mayfield's career. Did a great job just on offense in general. To see what him and his staff can do with Bryce Young and company, it's exciting to find out. That's one of the things when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, and you don't have that expectation of winning. You can just say, okay, man, let's just see what these guys can do, and let them go out there and surprise you.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, that's fine. But there's a lot of things to be optimistic about. But B,
mm-hmm.
I want to ask you something because there was a hot debate. You guys love both of those videos that we put out. Is it yesterday or day before? One for the Panthers, one for the Ravens. Lots of views on both of them. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the new subscribers. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a hot debate in the Ravens comments, right, about Chuba Hubbard.
In the Panthers.
I'm sorry. In the Panthers comment section about Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Is Chuba Hubbard good, B?
Chuba Hubbard's fine. I mean, he's not great. He's sort of like Gus Edwards. Right. He had looking at now, he had 900 yards rushing. So I guess he's not like Gus Edwards.
What about touchdowns?
And 230 yards receiving. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. So he was a little over 1,100 yards. He was just under 4 yards a carry. They had a terrible O-line, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's fine. He's a good backup to just kind of average starter, right? And that's fine. They have Miles Sanders there, who had been a more productive back than him. He had a horrible season. I would expect him to bounce back this year, but just having those two guys, and they brought back Raheem Blackshear to be that third guy and kind of give them a little bit of a spark, a little bit of explosiveness out of the running back group. They're fine there. I mean, it's not urgent that they go out and do anything at the running back position, which is fine, good, because this draft class doesn't look great at running back anyway. But yeah, it's not an urgent need. That's way down the list at this point for Carolina. But no, Chuba Hubbard's not great. They will need to upgrade from there at some point.
At some point. And the thing with players like him, and I'm guilty of this all the time, especially in basketball, but don't fall in love with okay players.
Yeah.
All right. I do it all the time. So I'm not throwing stones by any means. But those guys that you like, they're good. They're solid. They can get you some good seasons here and there. They'll have some really good games here and there. But we tend to confuse them with playmakers. We tend to confuse them with special players or just better players because we're like, oh, look at the production. And we can use things like, well, he was playing behind a bad O-line. Imagine what he would do behind a good O-line, right?
Right.
And we tend to pass up on, or want to pass up on, talented players, really, truly talented players, because this guy is good enough. Don't do that, Panthers fans, right? Like B said, that's not a top priority right now. So, yeah, of course, keep him. Keep Miles Sanders and, work on it. You get to that when you get to that. But don't look at Chuba Hubbard like he's a mainstay there. Like you got your running back for the future. No. He's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's going on, E? He says facts. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. D Banks has a question. Well, this should have been a submitted questions, D Banks, but I'll answer it here. He says, when is the Ravens roundtable coming back? It is coming back next Monday. All right. Coach Evans was on a well-deserved vacation. All right. I think he's still on vacation. Hope you're staying safe, Coach. But the whole crew will be back next week. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Sip to Tally Films if you're not already. Okay. That's Coach Evans' channel. That's where we do the Ravens Roundup Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that's Monday the 25th. We'll be back. And then hopefully we'll be off for Easter Monday.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think so.
Even Lamar says Sanders is the Eagles O-line merchant.
That's fine, but still more productive than Chuba's ever been.
Yes. Yeah. That was funny. Where are you gonna go?
I love anybody calling any athlete any kind of merchant. It's hilarious to me. Ever since they called Giannis a run and dunk merchant, it cracks me up every time.
Hold on. So all right. We got 113 people in the YouTube chat. We got let's see. We got about 40 people over on Twitter. We got a couple people on Facebook. One person on Twitch. Salute to that one person that shows up on Twitch. I think it might be Sugar. Twitch is the most unserious streaming place, man.
It is.
Well, whatever. We won't keep it going. Why not? Hit that like button if you're new in here, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. All right. What we got next? Around the league. What we got around the league?
I mean, nothing really.
I think we talked about it. I think we talked about
we got the Steelers going after another wide receiver potentially. They signed Van Jefferson, who's a pretty solid receiver. They let go of Allen Robinson, who was another rumored name with the Baltimore Ravens. But there's talks that maybe they're still going after Tyler Boyd. Maybe they're going after a much bigger fish in Justin Jefferson, trying to bring him into Pittsburgh. So obviously that would be a huge splash. On the wide receiver front as well, you got Brandon Ayuk. There was a rumor out there that he was available for the 17th pick in Zay Jones to Jacksonville, and they, I guess, didn't want to pay that. But Brandon Ayuk seems, if you see him on Twitter, he seems dead set on getting out of San Francisco. I guess he may not believe that they want to pay him. Or maybe they've communicated to him that they don't want to pay him what he wants, but it seems like he wants out, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time before they move on from him.
So I was telling B this offline. I think the 49ers, 49ers fans will tell you Brandon Ayuk is a better wide receiver at this point, right? And he's a little bit younger than Deebo Samuel. But I feel like that coaching staff, Kyle Shanahan and company, see more value in Deebo Samuel because of who the quarterback is. Deebo Samuel is probably the best at screens, right? And yak yards after catch. Okay, short yards, throw him the ball, he'll catch it and he'll take care of the rest. I think for somebody like Brock Purdy, and again, not calling Brock Purdy, bad or anything like that, but it's just easier when he doesn't have to wait for plays to develop down the field. Brandon Ayuk can do everything. Don't get me wrong. He can do the short yards. He can do, down the field. He can do everything. But Deebo is the master of screens. He catches that ball on a screen. That's 50-50 touchdown.
Yeah.
Right? We saw it. Even though we destroyed him in that game, we thought we had him blown up in the backfield, and Marlon Humphrey almost broke his face. Right?
Yeah. Credit to Marlon, man. He went all out on trying to bring him down. He couldn't do it.
Yeah. I think somebody like that, I think they hold more value towards, and he's already paid. So I don't know, but Brandon Ayuk, and I think he made some comments after the Super Bowl too, kind of alluding to don't expect him to be here, type of thing.
Yeah. And D Banks asking, if Ayuk goes to the Steelers and Justin Jefferson goes to the Bengals, do you guys think we should draft a corner? No, you should go and find a receiver.
That type of mentality right there. If we say, hey, we gotta draft a corner to combat these guys, you might as well wave the white flag. Get a receiver.
I love this. Rahim Ali says, I would definitely trade Andrews and a 6th-round pick for Jefferson. I bet you would. I bet you would trade a 6th-round pick and maybe the second best tight end on your team for the best receiver in the league.
He's talking about Jerome Jefferson, not Justin Jefferson.
Like, oh, Tony Jefferson? I mean, that makes more sense. But that's I would do that deal as well. But yes,
should say there's always me on Twitch. Something about him on Twitch, Jose. Thank you, Shug. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Well, share it out to your Twitch friends, okay?
Right. But yeah, so around the league, really not a whole lot going on elsewhere in the league outside of, again, Pittsburgh, who brought in Justin Fields via trade. They seem to be all in on getting themselves back on top of the AFC North next season with their Russell Wilson move and bringing in Justin Fields, with the rumors about them going after high-end wide receivers. I still don't. I mean, I get that there was a issue between the player and maybe the coaching staff. I don't want to say character issue, but with Deontay Johnson, they just they wanted to split. Right. Yeah. There were some effort questions with him and George Pickens, but I think that stemmed mostly from the fact that they were trying to catch passes from Kenneth Pickett, who couldn't really get the ball anywhere near them.
Yeah.
So
So he's talking about Dak had a restructure in Dallas. That's nothing. That's nothing abnormal about that. Usually, quarterbacks, they get those big contracts and they restructure some way, somehow down the line. Doesn't mean that they took a pay cut. Restructure doesn't mean pay cut all the time. Usually doesn't mean pay cut when you're talking about a quarterback. It just means we're going to convert some of your money into a bonus or something like that.
Yeah, just in general, that's, there's guys who take pay cuts like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, and they make it clear when that's reported if you took a pay cut. Typically, restructure just means they converted some of your salary to bonus, so you're getting more money up front, and the team gets a little flexibility in the cap.
That's why we always laugh when we say, hey, when people say, well, how are the Ravens going to pay for something? They don't have money. You can always find money.
Yeah.
You can always rework contracts to get the money that you need.
Yeah. So. You can always make money if you really want to. The Ravens typically don't want to.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He said, nah, I mean, they're making room. They need some help too, paying the others. Well, that's how it goes. Salute to Antoine Broom for subscribing.
Thank you, Antoine.
Be awesome like Antoine. Hit that subscribe button, all right? And if you really want to be awesome, all right, we do super chats over here as well. It might be grayed out on your side, but super chats, you do it through the pin link that you see in the chat box. Okay, that'll take you to our Streamlabs page. Also, that QR code right there below B, that's for our Cash App, $ LBHT Show. That's how we do super chat. Either way, you leave your donation, leave your comment, you get a nice little animation on the screen, and we read your comment. All right. Also, patreon.com/LBHT Show. It's been flashing over my head every few seconds. All right. Go over there, support the show. All right. The patrons that already got locked in for April 6th, we'll see you on April 6th. Everybody else, man, look, we only had a limited amount of spots. Okay. But there's going to be more events coming up in the future. So sign up, and even without the events, we do an overtime show every month or every week right after the main show. Do I have the promo? Yes, this is what we're talking about tonight. Right here. Okay. There's Bomani Jones. There's Cam Newton. And there's us. Look at that. What are we discussing? We are discussing the media. We're discussing mainstream media versus athletes media versus content creators. Okay. It's an interesting discussion that Bomani Jones brought up. Not throwing any shade or anything like that. He was just kind of discussing the difference between mainstream and this new media, as Draymond will call it. Athletes having their own podcasts and shows and whatnot. But I want to throw I want to throw our hat in the mix too. Okay, content creators cannot be left out, because content creators is what inspired all of them to do what they're doing now. Okay. So we're going to discuss that in the overtime show. All right.
Yeah. So in terms of just other news around the league, there was some bad news around the league. Lions corner Cameron Sutton is wanted in his bed. The police have been looking for him for a couple of weeks in a domestic violence case, a battery case. So I mean, not a great story there.
Yeah, he's on a run.
Yeah, Michael Thomas from the Saints is entering pretrial diversion from a couple of misdemeanors, which whatever. But we also have this is the really bad news. Well, I shouldn't say really bad. The Sutton thing is pretty bad. But the really bad news that affects the NFL directly is the proposed rule change. There's one that they're trying to make the kickoff more like the XFL kickoff to allow for actual, more returns.
Yeah.
I doubt it'll pass, but whatever. The other one is about the hip drop tackle, which you heard a lot about last year. Every week, somebody was getting flagged or injured or, for the what they call a hip drop tackle, which is when you essentially go boneless. You drop your weight to bring down a ball carrier. Yeah. And they are going to make that, or they're looking to make that a 15-yard penalty. And it's going to be a judgment call for the worst set of officials in professional sports.
Yeah, I don't like it. Now, I understand the concerns about that, right? How it could cause injury. Football's a violent sport, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm for a lot of the rule changes to take a lot of like the really bad hits out and to prevent these type of injuries. But you got to draw the line somewhere. I mean, it's a tackle, man. It's a tackle. You know how you can kind of help with those type of things when they hip drop? Stop trying to pull them forward and just go down. That could help. But no, I mean it's tough. Like I said, I get the argument for it. Don't get me wrong. But the biggest reason why I'm against it, like 80% of why I'm against it, isn't because, don't be soft. It's not that. It's because we don't have, like we said, we don't have good officials that can make good judgment. So we're gonna have people that have textbook tackles, and they can just throw a flag and say hip drop.
Yeah, and that's my problem with it. Is like that's how you have taught people to tackle. Yeah. Like it's not, and now you're making it illegal. There was nothing wrong with that tackle. It just there were a few high profile injuries, and the league does not want that. So definitely 100% against that. I don't think the referees are in any place to administer that rule fairly, and I think that you're going to see game-changing penalties called on a weekly basis if that's something that actually gets implemented. The kickoff rule, like I said, is similar to the XFL rule. It'd be that the kicker would kick from the same spot, but the rest of the kickoff team would line up on the opposing 40-yard line, and then the return team would line up between the 30 and 35. Excuse me. And they're allowed to have two returners in what they call a landing zone, which would be, anywhere from the goal line to the 30-yard line. And nobody but the kicker and the returners are allowed to move until the ball hits the ground or is caught by one of the returners. And then touchbacks would go to the 35-yard line at that point. And the idea is just, you don't have 10 guys running full speed at the returners before they even get the ball, and it will encourage them to return the ball more often than is currently the case.
I'm for that.
Yeah,
I'm for trying that out.
And having the kickers not just blasted out of the back of the end zone, because then you're starting on the 35-yard line. This is something I did want to mention really quickly. It's not related to the NFL, but D Banks brings it up here. Did y'all see what's going on with Ohtani?
Okay. First of all, D Banks. All right. We don't do the baseball talk around here unless we sanction it beforehand. But because we love Ohtani and he's our good friend. All right, Ohtani, if you're watching, we're your friends. Okay, give us some money. I'll allow it this time.
Well, now, this isn't even baseball talk. And look, Ohtani he's not at fault here. But Ohtani just fired his interpreter. As you know, that he speaks with an interpreter. If you don't know, Shohei Ohtani is Japanese. I believe he can actually speak English, but like a lot of guys, they don't.
I'm gonna tell you something about Japanese baseball players. They all speak English.
Yeah.
They all speak English. They just don't like talking to the media. So they get these interpreters so they can.
Well, I don't even think it's just, I mean, part of it is obviously they don't like talking to the media, but I think part of it as well is if it's not your first language, you're probably not going to be comfortable, trying to express yourself and maybe get misunderstood and things like that. I understand.
Yeah.
But he fired his interpreter, his longtime interpreter, because they discovered about $4.5 million in bank wires from Shohei Ohtani's accounts to bookies, essentially. So his interpreter has a gambling problem, and well, maybe he doesn't because he was gambling with Shohei Ohtani's money. So it's kind of like Michael Jordan when he said, "I don't have a gambling problem; it's just a hobby. I have the money." He had the money too, right? It just belonged to someone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got fired. They're kind of still obviously looking into that, but unbelievably bold to just say I'm gonna gamble $4.5 million and you're just not gonna notice.
Well, look, if all you did was get fired,
yeah, I think that's probably just step one.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say about this is, at least Bruno Mars wasn't interpreting for him.
Jesus. Get some help, Bruno.
Luke said, "Is it criminal? It is. He stole $4 million. That is, yes, that's penitentiary level criminal."
Right. Why would the translator be the fall guy? Like, he has the money. Well, to be fair, I don't know what he was betting on. So maybe it was bets on baseball or something like that. In which case, that's obviously a problem for Ohtani. But if it was just gambling, then he wouldn't need a fall guy. But to be fair, D-Bank, so yeah, I don't know what he was betting on. I didn't see that as part of the story. But I think it's time that we move on to submitted questions because it's time to get out of here.
I got a question first before. What if he only gambled like 500,000? Would he have noticed?
Probably not.
This because every time I hear stuff like this, you guys ever watch American Greed? That's one of my favorite shows ever. These Ponzi schemers, scam artists, they always get caught because they take just a little too much. Right?
Yeah.
If they just kept it at, that first $1 million, or a couple $100,000, nobody would have ever found out. But they're like, let's do 8 million. Let's do 10 million. They drain people's bank accounts. Obviously, somebody's going to find out. But they just took a little bit here, a little bit there. They could have got away with it. But that's why it's called American Greed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely just a, hey, I went a little too far situation. Yeah. I'm looking at the article now, and it says initially, I guess he had actually just transferred some funds to cover this guy's gambling debt. And then the guy said, "Oh, green light, I guess," and stole some of his money. Wow. So I'll have to read more about that later. I don't want to just read it on air. But
Yeah.
Terrible thing. Like if you have a friend who is willing, well, first of all, he's insanely rich. He's one of the most popular athletes out there, and he's willing to just give you money to cover your gambling debt. You don't screw that friend.
Shohei, we're your friends. If you watch, somebody send this to Shohei Ohtani. We're your friends. We can translate for you. Okay, I got Google Translate right here on my phone. Okay, just speak into it. B's got Apple. They claim that they know everything over there.
Real-time translation.
Speak into his phone, and we'll take care of the rest. All right, or you just whisper it to us in English because I know you speak English, and we'll clean it up for you. All right, that's how we'll do it. All right. Submitted questions time. This is 4 points. I guess I should have said this earlier too. There are 106 people on YouTube. If you're in this chat, you are getting points. What are those points good for? We give away prizes at the end of every month. Good prizes, okay? Not bad prizes, good prizes. The first prize is for the person that has the most points, okay? And we give you a gift with that we let you pick out within like the $7,500 range, okay? We let you pick the gift, okay? The second prize is a $25 Amazon gift card that goes to anybody who wins a drawing to be eligible for the drawing, you have to get 1,000 points. Now, how can you get points? Doing exactly what you're doing right now, watching the show, being in the chat, commenting in the chat, donating, get you a lot of points, subscribing, get you points, sign up to Patreon, get you a lot of points. We get points for buying merch too, right?
Well, we hadn't been, but we can do that.
Yeah, buy some merch. We gotta get our sales numbers up. Okay, our store manager said, hey, we gotta get those sales up. So go over to lbhtshow.com/shop and go find something that you like. Also, go over to lbhtshow.com, sign up for our newsletter. Send us an email when you do it. Send us an email saying, hey, this is me. Sign up for the newsletter. Instant 1,000 points. Bam. Just like that. And this segment that we're doing right now, submitted questions. If you submit a question to us and we read it on air, you get points. And trivia, which will happen next, that will get you points as well. So it's submitted questions time. This is people that get points because we're reading it on air. What is the first question, B?
Wow, I'm just reading some of the story, and I guess, and I'm not clear because I haven't read through the entire article, but I guess Ohtani knew and had agreed to pay off he agreed to pay off the debt, but I think there's something illegal in terms of how they did it. The guy was betting on international soccer matches. He never bet on baseball, and he said that. He said he's terrible at gambling. He never won any money, and he just kept getting bigger. And this is my favorite part. He had to bet bigger to get out of the hole, and it just snowballed. And I'm like, no, that's not how you get out. You don't get out of the hole by digging.
He could have asked his friend earlier for the money.
Yeah. And he said that Ohtani agreed to pay it off because they are friends, and said that he told him just never to gamble again, and he agreed to it. So he was going to pay off the debt.
That's a good friend, man. That's a good friend.
Yeah. On to the submitted questions. This one's first from Darius. Who should the Ravens target in free agency for the guard position? Well, we went over the list a bit. Not everyone available, but some of the top guys available. And it looks like Dalton Reisner. That's the list, I think.
Dalton Reisner. Well, Andrews Pete is a tackle, right?
Yeah. Oh, no, he's a guard. He came in as the tackle, but he plays guard.
There you go. Dalton Reisner and Andrews Pete. I say get both of them.
I think Dalton Reisner is probably it.
I don't think they're anything special, but I mean.
Yeah. Next up from Jeremy. Who will be with the Steelers longer, Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? So Russell Wilson is there on a 1-year contract he signed in free agency. Justin Fields has a year left on his contract as well. I believe they have the option to pick up his 5th-year option coming up this May, I believe. I think it's going to be Fields. I don't think that they have any intention of keeping Russell Wilson longer than a year. I think you'll have to play just fantastic for them to say, hey, you know what, we're going to extend you and you're our guy. I think they're planning for that to be Justin Fields.
I think it depends. I'm obviously leaning towards Justin Fields because who will be with the Steelers longer? They're both there now, right? Mm-hmm. And they brought Fields in to be the quarterback of the future, meaning like next year. But if there's anything to these rumors that they are interested in Jettas, right? And they get him, and Russell Wilson throws for 45 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, that would change things a little bit.
I would feel so bad for look, Justin Fields got to play with DJ Moore this past year, right? But on his way out, his team traded for Keenan Allen, and it looks like they're going to draft Marvin Harrison. And now he gets traded to Pittsburgh, and they're like, we're going to get Justin Jefferson, and you're going to sit the bench. and then he's out. No, it would be awful. Yeah, it would be awful.
But, Justin Fields, that's who they're playing for. And that's how you do it, man. You got your young quarterback and you say, hey, look, don't worry. This is going to be your team. Just learn the offense.
Next up from Jay, with the Panthers' revamped O-line, what side do you think they will run to more often? And I'm going to say the side that has Robert Hunt, who is the better of the 2 guards that they signed, and Taylor Moton, who is the better of the 2 tackles who are currently starting in Carolina. So I'm going to say they're going to be running to the right side.
The side that doesn't have Ikem Ekwonu on it until they know for sure that he can that he can do something out there.
Yeah. I'm going with the right side, Jay. Our last question is from Shug. Shug is, if you know about Shug, not great at staying on topic. How crispy should bacon be?
Okay, so I don't eat pork. I do eat turkey bacon.
Yeah.
All right, but it should be crispy either way. Even if you eat, just plain old pork bacon, it should be crispy. All right, you should have a nice little crisp to it. Same thing with turkey bacon. My daughter does not like any crisp to it. No.
She likes it almost uncooked.
I know, it's disgusting. Disgusting. No,
it should be extremely crispy, almost to the point that you burnt it.
Yes, not burnt, almost to the point.
Almost. And look, I'm gonna say this too. I eat turkey bacon. It's fine. It should not be turkey. Okay? it should be pork. And I don't know what would make you think that I would ever read or click on that comment that you just put in there.
I'm gonna bring it up. No,
you're not.
No,
okay?
no,
listen,
but no, you gotta trust me on this. He says vegan bacon gets crispy. You know what vegan bacon is, ladies and gentlemen? It's a carrot. It's a carrot.
And listen, this goes back to our running series, Vegans Are Liars. But that is it for the submitted questions for this week. I say we roll right into trivia time and get up out of here.
Well, let's give them a small bonus time. Okay. Yeah, so here's what we'll do. We're going to do trivia time. While we're doing trivia time, put some questions in the chat. All right, we'll discuss it for a few minutes, and then we'll do trivia time, and then we are going over to the overtime show. If you want to be a part of that, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. Lots of fun. Okay. You saw what we had on topic. We do the main topic, and then it kind of goes wherever it's going to go after that. And I feel like we have a lot of things to discuss because the X-Men 97 series came out today.
Sure did.
We got some video game news to discuss. They showed a preview of the new Captain America game. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things that we're gonna be discussing. So if you want to be a part of that, all you need is just $5. $5. If you got a little more, you can give more. Okay, we got more tiers. All right, and we give perks for each tier. So sign up. It is well worth the price of admission.
All right. So for trivia time, here's your question: who scored the most points in a single NCAA tournament? The NCAA men's tournament is starting tomorrow. The women's tournament starting, I believe on Friday. I think are their first games, and then you get a bonus 500 points if you can name the men's and women's record holder.
All right. Yes, and this is for points. The first 3 people to get it right get points. All right. So I'll give y'all a second to find that answer. All right.
Well, one of them should be very easy since it just happened very recently. No, it's not Christian Laettner. Christian Laettner is not that guy. He wasn't even the best player on his own team. I'm tired of it, Hendo. He's terrible.
Shug wants to know why you hate great shows like X-Men 97.
I don't hate great shows at all. As for X-Men 97, we'll discuss that in the overtime show if you show up, Shug.
Just how I said Lou Alcindor, aka Kareem.
No.
Okay. Well, you gave him a hint. You said it was just recently.
Well, one of them was recently, not both of them. But there is one correct answer in the chat.
Man, you guys really hate Google. What do you have against Google? Google the answer.
Like this, we're not. Nobody's getting sent to the principal's office for cheating.
There's 101 people in here, 104 people in here. The ticker keeps going up. These are for points, ladies and gentlemen. These points turn into real prizes. What did Alex Rita get last month?
He got. I'll have to pull it up. He sent a link. It was like I believe a Bluetooth speaker.
Got Bluetooth. Yeah, he got a Bluetooth speaker. I can't remember who won the drawing, but $25 Amazon gift card. All right, get your points. Do you see any answers so far? Yep. The one is obvious, right? Caitlin Clark.
I don't know about that, but let's see. Okay. So we do have 3 answers for the men's tournament. That would be Brandon Buck, Suge Knight, and Hendo. Glenn Rice scored 184 points in the NCAA tournament. That is the record.
I would have never gotten that. I was going to say Steph.
No.
When he had that run with Davidson.
Yeah, the run wasn't that long.
It really wasn't. That's right.
And let me see. I don't know who Caitlin Clark is, Kevin Lawson.
We'll give him credit. You meant Caitlin. That's Caitlin.
Yes. So we got Hendo, Kevin Lawson, and Buck with Caitlin Clark for the women, who scored 191 points last year.
Yeah. What's going on, Mikey? Salute to Mikey. Yes, and Mikey will be back. I know you keep saying it, but he will be back soon. Open mic with OTR Mike. Go over there, hit the subscribe button. All right. It is the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter where it is, who it is, or what it is. Okay. So he took a little break. He was coaching with the rest of the OTR crew. Shout out to OTR Brandon, OTR Quan for a great year. Okay. But now it's the off season. He's going to be back in the lab. Got a new setup here. I'm going to get him situated, and he's going to be pumping out those episodes. All right. So go over there, hit the subscribe button. Your boy Mikey is back. Also, Ring Kings is back too. We got an episode out. We're going to do another one soon because Ryan Garcia is crazy. And that was going to be the small combat corner that I wanted to talk about. Right before we came on, Ryan Garcia did a Spaces.
Oh, did he?
And he was talking trash about Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson pulled up. He pulled up. Now Ryan Garcia sounded he sounded like he wasn't on anything. He was clean. And they were doing some trash talking, and Shakur's just like, look, let's not play this game, man. Like, this is called right now. Like, will you agree to fight me after the Haney fight? And at first he was just like, if you win. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't care. Even if you lose. He's like, win or lose. Fight me next. And
thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Shakur said, fight me next. And he said, if I don't get the rematch with Tank, which he won't. If I don't get the rematch with Tank, I'll fight you next. And he's like, when I see you, we'll shake on it. And he was dead serious. And you know what? I believe Ryan Garcia.
I believe that he meant it when he said it.
No. I believe he's the one that's making these fights happen. I didn't think he was going to fight Tank. I didn't think he was going to fight Devin Haney.
I 100% believe he meant it when he said it. That doesn't mean that it's definitely going to happen because most boxers are not in control of who they are going to fight next.
That's true.
But I 100% believe he meant it when he said it because I don't think that Ryan. I mean, look, none of these guys are scared of anybody, but I think that, like you said, Ryan Garcia is out there trying to make these fights happen.
Yeah. That's the one thing I give him credit for.
Speaking of the, you see, Tank versus Frank Martin is back on.
When was it off?
I don't know. I thought they had called it off.
No, they never called it off.
They
didn't officially announce it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought they said that it was off and he was looking at someone else, but I saw an interview with Frank Martin today talking about it. Yeah,
no. It was always a done deal. So, yeah, got some good boxing coming up. Yeah, Ring Kings is coming back because we have to talk about Canelo too. We might have another Canelo debate. I do not like the words coming out of Canelo's mouth right now. Okay,
what's wrong with Canelo? What's wrong with him looking to make some money?
He can't make any more money fighting what's his name? Munguia than he can
no, he said that he gave a number that he would agree to fight David Benavidez.
A number that's never happened before in boxing.
I mean, listen. I see where he's coming from.
Sounding like Dr. Evil. Give me $1 billion.
I see where he's coming from though, because he's at the end of his career. We all think, yes, he's close to it, and he's like, this guy isn't a draw. He's like, he's not going to be making, he's not going to make a ton of money fighting Dave Benavidez, a ton more than he would make fighting Jaime Munguia or anybody else. So why would he take that fight instead of doing a victory lap against Jaime Munguia on May 5th.
Okay, and that's what it is. We gotta play translator for guys like this, right? Because like saying he's not a bigger draw, like he's a bigger draw than Munguia.
Okay? Yeah, no, for sure. But I don't think it would be. I don't think it would affect a Canelo fight. Is what I'm saying.
But I think that'd be huge, man. I think that'd be huge.
I
but
think it would.
We're gonna debate this. But no fighter wants to say this. But he's like, like we said, this is my retirement tour. I want to have a couple easier fights. I want to go out there and fight a dog. I mean, his nickname is the Monster, and he's every bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't want to fight that too on my way out.
And listen, it could also be, and he could also be that he's saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna save that for my last fight.
Nah, he ain't trying to fight him at all, man.
Maybe not, but hey, that's what people said before, and how he was scared of the Charlos, right? And then he went and fought Charlo.
He fought the wrong Charlo. But we'll talk about that.
He did not fight the wrong Charlo. He would have murdered the other Charlo.
I know. The time passed. Had come and gone. Like Jamal was just too inactive. Jamel had to move up 2 weight classes to fight him. It's just it was just. I mean, I give him credit for it still. I mean, Jamel is an excellent fighter, but too small.
He's not scared. Like, look, I think he would beat Benavidez. I don't think he's scared of Benavidez at all. But it's just it's a tougher. I think it would, because it's not like Benavidez is a great boxer. No, he has great power. And what's the one thing that you've never seen from Canelo? Him get hurt.
Nope, never seen him drop.
He's fought huge punches. I don't think he's a bigger puncher than Triple G. But he fought him 3 times and didn't get hurt.
I got a lot to say about this, but this is a preview of Ring Kings Podcast. If you're enjoying this, go subscribe to Ring Kings Podcast. We're coming back.
But I think, just to close out, I think he's at the Floyd stage where he's like, what's the point? There's always going to be somebody else that you say, I need to go fight.
Like you said, Ryan said Tank gave him a fake number. Duh, we aren't friends.
Yeah.
All right. If you enjoy this, come over to the Overtime Show. All right. I know you got $5 in your pocket. I was just at the grocery store the other day, right? I just wanted to get a Snickers bar, just one. And that thing said on sale for like $2. What's the original price? $3. Okay. For just a little bit more than a Snickers bar, you can sign up to patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. We got stuff to give away. We got a nice coin here. Where's my coin? We got a coin right here. There it is. Boom. Get yourself a coin. Okay. That's for the $10 tier. That's for, look, I'll even turn the light off for that. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that shiny thing. Okay. I think we got coins to setting out too. Somebody sign up for the $10 tier. You get access to our Discord channel. All right. And obviously the Overtime Show, which people love. All right. That's a big one. That's only $5. All right. So sign up, come hang out with us, and you can steer the conversation in any direction that you want. All right.
Yeah. And Pay the Bill says when the chin goes, it disappears, though. Yeah, but there's no indication that his chin is going.
Yeah, true.
So, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it really is just, he's like, for what?
I wouldn't want that smoke either.
Like there's easier money out there, and it's probably not going to make him any more money to fight him.
No, it is.
You
know?
No,
it definitely is. We'll discuss that. No, it definitely is. PBC made sure of that. He's turning down more money. That's why he left PBC to go to the Zone, and then left the Zone to go back to PBC, because the Zone's like, we're not paying you that. We'll discuss that. Yes. I'll get you up to speed on that. All right. All right, that is it. Yeah, we out of here. We getting out of here. B, are you ready?
Yeah.
B is ready. All right, we're going over to the Overtime Show. This was a fun discussion. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna have some more videos coming out. Make sure you subscribe. All the new people in here, subscribe. Turn on your notification bells, because we're giving you guys a lot of content for Ravens and Panthers. All right. But yeah.
Don't pay the bills. I do not remember when boxers fought for more than money. Like that is a fairy tale that people sell you.
No, I don't remember, because it happened before we were born. You're talking about like Homicide Hank, who fought like 200 people.
No, right? You're not. They've always been called prize fighters because they fight for money.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what they fight for.
They fought for coins.
No, but I'm saying they fought for money. They weren't out there fighting for fun. They were fighting to get paid.
Yeah. I mean, they're fighting to get paid, but when you fight 200 people,
You're
fighting to let it be known.
It's just a different era. You had to fight a lot more people to get paid, but you're fighting to get paid.
I want to look through Homicide Hank's record to see which person he killed to get that name, because you know he killed somebody, right? Like you know that you like you know that happened, right? Like he killed somebody. He didn't just get that name. All right, we are out of here. Patrons, get ready. The Overtime Show is starting in a few minutes. Everybody else, thank you very much. Have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.